Hi everyone, it's Carlin here at May Blossom Design, and I'm outside today, as you can see. If you can't hear me very well, I apologize. It's a little windy today, but um, I'm going to do my best. But as you can see, I have the Vevor mini kiln. Vevor sent this to me, and I am so excited about it. I cannot wait to give this a try. I have seen tons of other creators do lots of fun things in it, and I cannot wait to give it a try and give you my honest review. I already did unbox it just because you don't need to see me unboxing it. I unboxed it. So what it comes with, you get your manual, obviously. You get your power adapter. You do get some tongs, which I'm going to have to practice picking things up with these, I think, because, yeah, I'm going to have to practice before I do any raku or anything like that. And then you do get some heat-resistant gloves, which is nice because if you're planning on doing anything like raku or working with any metals or anything like that, because I believe in this kiln you can do quite a bit with it, not just pottery. So yeah, so that's what it comes with. And then yeah, the kiln itself, it comes with a little handle on top. It's about just under 40 pounds, I believe. It's not too heavy, but I mean, it does come with a handle for moving, and then a little clasp on the side here, and then it just opens up. Yeah. So right now I do have it on just a little side table. I won't be firing it on here. It's going to be firing right on the cement. So inside from the back, touching the back to the front is just about 5.5. From top, I'm going to say from right at the top touching to the bottom is 6. So I guess you could say 6 inches. And side to side is 6 inches. You do want to make sure, I don't know if you can see it right there, I think. The insulation on the door, it does stick out a little bit. So I'm going to say like 1/4 of an inch in. So probably like, I would stick with like a 5-inch piece maximum width for this. I do also want to mention some safety precautions that you probably should take. Regardless of any kind of kiln that you're using, you should have a fire extinguisher nearby. I wouldn't leave this unattended because as far as I can understand from reading the manual, it doesn't have an automatic shut off. So once it reaches temperature, it's going to stay there until you shut it off. So you have to monitor it. You want to have a fire extinguisher nearby. You want to obviously have it nowhere near any combustibles. Like I said, I have it on this table right now. I will be getting a different table for when I try something different where I need to be around it a little bit more. But this will be firing right on my cement pad for the moment because inside my home, I don't have room in my studio at the moment. Also, if you're going to be using an extension cord, I would recommend getting a little bit heavier dutier one or contacting your electrician to make sure that you do have the power for it. It does just have a regular 3-prong plug, but just cover all your bases. Just cover all your bases because you just want to be as safe as possible, especially when you're working with something that heats up to as hot as this does heat up. So what I'm going to start with, just to kind of gauge where we're at, is I'm going to start with a mug. This is just a small mug. It's got Amico's snow on it with some underglaze little hearts and then just Mako's clear on top. So that's what I want to start with because snow is such a reliable glaze. I know that it doesn't run. If it runs, yeah. So yeah, I kind of just want to see what it does. So I'm going to put that in there. I haven't quite hooked it up yet, so we're just going to put this in here and then I'm going to hook it up and I'll show you what that does. But yeah, I'm going to put this in. Just don't make sure you don't touch the back. I'm going to put it this way, I think. Okay, so it works in there. I am going to put a cone 5 cone in here. From what I understand from other reviews that I've watched is that it does heat up a little bit faster than, not faster, sorry. It heats up hotter than what you think it's going to be. So I did a little cheat sheet on my manual here. I saw another creator do it and I thought it was fantastic. So cone 5, and because it also runs in Celsius, cone 5 is 1196. Now my regular kiln, I usually fire between 5.5 and 6. So my top temp, I put it up to 2190 and then I do a slow cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to 1190 and I'm going to see what it does. Might do a little bit of a hold and then shut it off. I'll see. I'll see when we're doing it because it's just I just want to test it. I want to play it out. I want to yeah. So yeah, let's get started. I'm going to hook it up and then we'll get firing. Okay, so as you can see, I've moved it down, so it's just sitting on the cement. I am about 1.5 feet away from the house, so I'm more than enough away. Anyway, so I plugged it in. So I'm just going to turn it on. I don't know if you can hear that, but it does have a fan, so it is fanning. So in further reading, it said that the max temp you can go up to this little kiln is 1200 degrees Celsius. So everything is in Celsius. So I believe right now you can see that top number says 21. So that is the temperature that it is at the moment. 1100 is, I think, what the temperature is set at. I'm not sure. So I think I mentioned before I'm going to do 1150. I think I'm going to just do 1100 and I'm going to see how that works. Because it does say in the manual also that 1150 is the maximum operating temperature and to not run it for more than a few hours at a time. So I may, yeah, I kind of want to see how long it takes to cool and everything. So yeah, let's give this a try. Okay, so you press U, and when it's blinking, that's where you set the temperature. So I'm going to leave it at, you know what, let's do 1120. Yeah, so I'm going to do it at 1120 degrees. And if you press, sorry, I'm just going to shut this and then get it locked up. You press P to confirm. And then the blinking light is starting to heat, I guess. There's a little blinking, like equal sign, kind of. Press the P and and that starts heating. So yeah, it's already gone up. So it's 22. Okay, so it is 1150 and it is now at 27 degrees. I have it set for 1120. So that is in Celsius, not Fahrenheit. So if you don't know the conversion, which no, it's not for me. I got myself a little chart. I printed it right from Mako. It was great. So I just wrote the temperatures on there for what the cones are supposed to be. And because I watched other creators' videos, like I said before, I do know that it fires a little bit hotter. So I just put it a little bit less. So we'll see. But yeah, I used a really reliable glaze in here. It has been drying for a couple days, so I'm not worried about it like heating up and being too hot. But yeah, it's running. Holy man, we're already at 32 degrees and I've only been talking for what, 45 seconds? Okay, so I will check back in a few minutes and we'll see what we're at. So it is 12:35. So it's been running for 45 minutes and it's at 11:17. It definitely slowed down. As soon as it hit about 1,000 degrees, it, apologize for the wind if you can hear the wind. So yeah, it definitely slowed down a little bit when it hit about 11 or 1,000 degrees. And you can see that it's not heating up quite as quickly. Like these last couple degrees are taking definitely longer than before. So I just want to leave it here and show you what it does and why you cannot leave it unattended. Okay, so it's got to temperature. So that right there, this blinking light, so when this bottom number is blinking, so it's heating up right now. So basically, because I haven't told it to shut off, it's going to continue to heat. What I've noticed, so it's been at top temperature for about 2-3 minutes now, which it is 12:42. So it's been running for 52 minutes. 50 minutes it was already at temperature. 52 minutes it's been sitting here going between 117 and 120, like 11, Yeah, you can see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn it off because I don't know what it's doing in there. So I don't want to just let it sit at this temperature and just cook and cook and cook. So as far as I understand, if I just hit P, it's turning it off. So as long as there's no blinking lights, it's no longer heating. So now it's going to start cooling. So I'm going to leave the fan running, but this is the reason why you cannot leave it unattended, because it does not shut off by itself. You need to shut it off. So I cannot believe how quickly that went. Like I said, I watched a lot of videos knowing that it was quick, but this just seems so quick. But yeah, it's cooling down quite quickly. So we'll see. I'm hoping that maybe like within an hour, it should be cool enough to open. And yeah, I'll bring you back and let you know. So I am leaving the fan run, like I said. And yeah, hopefully that helps in cooling. And we'll come back and I'll see if we have a cup. So it is at 256 right now. I want to do another test today. So, and again, this is still quite hot. Like this, it's hot. So I want to do another test today. So I am going to, just like you would with like a wedge on your kiln door or kiln lid, I'm just going to kind of crack this open and see if I can, like, yeah, ooh, no explosions. So yeah, I'm just going to keep crack this open and hopefully it will speed up cooling even faster because it's only been a couple hours. Okay, so it is finally time to fully open this little baby kiln. It says we're at 106 degrees. It's like 3:30ish right now, so it cooled off really quick, like in a couple hours, which is nice because in a regular kiln, I mean, it cools down in anywhere from like 10 to 12 hours. So there's a big long wait, and this is very instant. So let's see if this cup survived, and let's see. Look at that! I'm just gonna hit the power button because we don't need to have it running anymore. So it is pretty bright. Ooh, it's still pretty warm. So this was cone 5. Ooh, hot. So I'd say this hot. I'd say that's probably more like closer to a cone 6 because it's pretty hot. Or it's pretty melty. But let's take this out. Look at that. Because yeah, this is pretty hot. Oh my gosh. This looks so good. Like it looks really good. It's nice and shiny. I mean, the glaze isn't perfect, but that could have been my application as well. I did have a couple bubbles when I was glazing that maybe I could have like smoothed over. But like for the most part, like it's pretty good. So I'm holy guacamole, that's hot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let this fully cool off. I am gonna do another test, and I think I'm just gonna put it in here like right now because why not? Like it's still warm in there, and I don't know, like it looks pretty good. It looks fine. Looks totally normal. So I have this cup. So what I'm gonna do is this one I'm gonna put on a kiln cookie just in case. Now, this one has wrought iron on the bottom and ancient copper on the top. And from my experience, ancient copper likes a quick cool. It likes to get hot and then it likes to get cold. And wrought iron, I think, will do better at a hotter temperature. So I'm going to do exactly the same temperature. I'm going to turn it on. That says 106. Yeah. So I just turned it back on. I'm going to monitor it. I'm going to let this cup cool right outside because it's still pretty warm outside and it's warm on the cup. And, oh, not bad. We have some crystals. My cookie did break, which I'm not surprised because it was something that was probably a little bit overfired anyway. So I'm not sad that it didn't make it. But I know that this is hot. So I'm going to do this video over the course of like 2 or 3 days. But yeah, I want to do a few more things before I really give my thoughts on this little kiln. But so far so good. Like it's it's kind of blown my mind how good it is, especially for how fast it is. I think that's what's throwing me off, is that I'm so used to things taking such a long time, that if these pieces are like safe, then it's kind of really awesome. So in true me fashion, I ended up changing my mind on what I wanted to do. So I ended up doing a refire. I wanted to see what a refire did. So this is what that little house is. And as you can see right away, it didn't turn out the greatest, but I don't blame the kiln for that. And I'll go further over that when I do my little final review. But yeah, you can see it didn't quite work out, but the glaze did. So that was the main thing I wanted to see, is if the refire of a glaze worked. Then after the refire, I went straight into another test with glazes that, again, I thought would do better in a higher temperature. So Mako's wrought iron, oyster, and birch, which I believe all need higher temps. And yeah, this one turned out great. It was probably the best test out of all of them. It really showed exactly kind of what I wanted it to do. So let's talk about what I think about the Vevor mini kiln. Honestly, I I think it's pretty great. There are some cons. I will say that. The biggest con probably with this one is that you do have to babysit it, which is fine because it's so quick. But it can easily be something that you could forget about if you're not paying attention. So that would be my only real big con, is that it's so quick and that you do have to babysit it. But I do believe that they have come out with an automatic version. I have the link in the link in the description will be for this one, for this manual mini kiln. So all the links will be left in the description below, and you can find it there if you're interested. Plus, if you want, you can find the automatic one through that same link as well. I believe you just have to click on the link and then you can find it through there. But yeah, honestly, I really do think it works pretty great. It's very quick, it's very fast, and it's very hot. So the very first thing that I did, and I will say that, like, I was a little skeptical, but the very first thing that I did was I did a cone 5 cone in with a mug, and I did this mug right here. So while I'm talking, I will do like a close up of the pieces that I did. So I did do this mug, which is just Amico Snow with Mako's underglaze, probably dragon red with clear on top. And it was on Plainsman 340 clay. I had never done anything with it. It wasn't pre-fired. It wasn't anything. It was just bisqued. But I put it in there and I put it at 1120, and I kind of left it at the top temperature for 2 minutes. Now, if you watch my whole entire video, you do know that it will just stay at that temperature. You have to turn it off. It doesn't turn off all by itself. You have to do that. So I would just let it sit there for a couple minutes. I'd put a timer on my phone and just let it sit, and then I would turn it off after 2 minutes and it would cool naturally. It takes between like 4 and 6 hours to cool, depending on how hot you want to open it. I was pretty excited, so I opened it pretty quick. But in all honesty, it turned out way better than I expected, honestly. And 1120 Celsius is quite a bit colder than cone 5. And this cone 5 was totally melted. So it is hot. It is a little bit hotter. So that's why I went with 1120, because I had watched other creators and I did know that it ran a little hotter. But then when I pulled it out, I thought that would happen so quick. I need to see if it's actually safe to use. So what I did was I filled it with water and I put it on just some paper towel and I let it sit here. And I did this test over 3 days. So the very first day I started, I did this mug. The second day it rained, so I needed a rain day. And then today's the third day. So 3 days it's been sitting on this paper towel and there's nothing. There's no damp. There's no nothing. So to me, that says that it's safe to use. You can let me know in the comments if I am incorrect, because by all means, I would love to learn if I am incorrect. But as far as I understand, if it doesn't leak water, then you're okay, that it's safe. But yeah, so that was the first test I did. Second test was using a metallic glaze. Now I know metallic glaze is especially ancient copper, and I love ancient copper, but I don't do much with it because it doesn't like a slow cool. It likes to get hot and then cold. And I don't do that very often because I don't do that very often. So I thought, why not try it in here? Because it gets, pardon me, it gets hot fast and then it cools off fast. And it did. Like it totally worked. And the glaze it seems perfectly fine. Like I wouldn't say that there's anything wrong here. There's no blisters. It's not like perfect, but that also could be my glaze application. So I can't, I'd have to do a little bit more testing to really be sure. But in all honesty, for how fast it fires and how fast it cools down, it did what I wanted it to do. So this second one, I used wrought iron, Mako's wrought iron on the bottom and Amoco's ancient copper on the top. And I did it at 1120 again, but I did it with a 6-minute hold at the top temperature. And I think if I would have went with an 8 or 10-minute hold, I probably would have got solid copper. I think because the inside got a lot more copper and the inside of a mug is always hotter than the outside. But if I would have just done it for a little bit longer, I think it would have got even more copper. And like it's perfect. There's not, to me, there's nothing wrong with it. So I thought that was pretty good. The third test I did was I did a refire. I had previously fired this in my regular kiln. I used Mako's matte white and I just underglazed it. I didn't put the glaze on thick enough, so it just looked really patchy. It didn't look nice. So I thought, well, let's try a refire because sometimes they can be a little tricky. And this time it was, because as you can see, there are cracks kind of everywhere. But I'm not necessarily going to blame the kiln. This could have happened in my main kiln too. So I'm not just going to blame this on the kiln that it has cracks, because it could have happened anyway. But for glaze wise, honestly, it really did come out pretty perfect. There's no pits, there's no blisters, there's nothing. It's nice. And I did that also. I did it at 1120. I did it with a 6-minute hold. And then I actually dropped it down a little bit to 975 and I held it there for about 5 minutes. And then I let it cool naturally. So maybe I did get it too hot. I'm not sure, but I don't think so, because I think that the glaze, it cracked early on because it looks like the glaze kind of fused some of the cracks together. So yeah, I'm not blaming the kiln on that. So the third test I did was another combo that I found I can never get these colors to look nice with my firing schedule. And because I only make a few things at a time of a certain glaze, I really don't want to waste a kiln load on just a couple mugs to make it at a hotter temperature. So again, I used wrought iron because I wanted to see if wrought iron would give me the texture look that it looks like on the test towel on the outside of the bottle. And I can't achieve that. I think it's something that needs a lot of texture. It needs to be on a piece that needs a lot of texture. So I think if I did that, I could try it again in this kiln. But otherwise, like glaze wise, it fired really nice in this kiln. Also, I used Mako's oyster, which I cannot get it to look nice, like at all. It's a yucky brown when I put it in my kiln, and I kind of figured that it was maybe something that needed to be really hot, and it does. It needs to be hot. Also, Mako's birch. It's nice, and I can get it to be nice in my kiln, but I never have it like that nice, crisp, creamy color. And the last time I got that was when my kiln was really hot. So I thought, let's try it in here. So what I did was wrought iron on the bottom with oyster on top of that with just a slight overlap, and then birch on top of that. And it, it's really nice. There is one little blister, but I wouldn't even call it a blister. It's more just like probably maybe like a piece of dust. Yeah, like this mug did have a crack in the handle because I thought I'm going to use my pieces that I don't have any attachment to just in case something happens. But yeah, I'm like, I'll use this cup for myself because I think it's really nice. So what I did with that one was I did it to 1120, and then I did a 5-minute hold, and then I dropped it down to 1,000 degrees, and then I held it there for 2 minutes, and then I just let it cool on its own. And then the last thing I did, because I did have enough time to do it, was I did a little bit of gold luster. If you watch my last kiln open, you will see that I unloaded this mug, and I actually put a post on posts and asked if I should add gold luster. And at the time of filming this, I'm not actually sure if people said yes or no, but I just decided to go with it. I probably shouldn't have done that, but I just decided to go with it. When I was making this mug, I actually had intentions of putting gold luster on it. And yeah, so I did. I tried it. I had time to do it, so I thought, why not? And yeah, I will add some close-ups of it again while I'm talking. But I've never used gold luster before, so I didn't really know how it worked. I didn't know how thick to apply it. I didn't know. I just knew that I wanted kind of like the splatter look. I couldn't get that. I wasn't able to. I wasn't able to make my brush do that. I think I just need to do a little bit more research. But I ended up firing it at 600 and 610. I went to 610. I probably could have maybe even gone just a touch longer. It looks like I could have maybe just went a touch longer, maybe like 620, and I probably would have got it perfect. But yeah, I think like it looks really good. It didn't do anything to the glaze. Everything came out fine. But yeah, I think yeah, I'm really happy with this little kiln. I think if you are somebody who has a small studio like myself, I know that I'm very fortunate that I do have a kiln, but if I didn't have a kiln and I still wanted to make pottery and I still wanted to try things and experiment with things, this would be an okay option. If you're somebody also who makes beads or makes ornaments or you make small scale stuff, I think this is a really great option. I think this is something that you totally could use in your studio. I also think even for somebody who does have a kiln, I am really excited about being able to have this because of things like gold luster. I'm not going to want to put it on everything. And again, like I said before, I don't want to waste a whole kiln load on 2 or 3 cups that have gold luster because you can't fire it at the same temperature as you fire anything else. So I'm like, honestly, I think it's a really great little tool. The link for this little kiln will be in the description below, so you can check that out if you're interested or you're in the market, or if you have any questions for me about it or about what I've done so far, please let me know in the comments. I will answer anything that I can, the best that I can. But yeah, I have a few more things that I am planning for this little guy, and mainly raku. I have seen so many creators try raku, and I have been in love with the look of raku, with the whole process, and I cannot wait to give this a try. I have things drying and waiting to go in the kiln as I'm talking to you right now. So I cannot wait to give raku a try with this little machine. Yeah, I'm really excited. I have so many more things planned. I have more gold luster videos planned. I think that's why I really wanted to get this one done in the very first video, because I wanted to see, like, does it work? Am I going to waste my time making a video trying it? But it totally works. And yeah, I'm really excited, and I'm so happy to have the opportunity to try stuff like this and for have Vevor to send me something like this. Because it's a great little product. And if I didn't like using it, I would tell you that I didn't like using it. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. If you want to check this out, I will leave the links to it in the description below. And otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video because I cannot wait to try raku with my little Vevor kiln. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.